The 14 years of civil conflict in Liberia provided a unique opportunity to reform the nation's political institutions and processes in a way that has increased the opportunities for women to participate in decision-making. Much of the international peace-building efforts to build sustainable and peaceful societies has focused on seizing this opportunity. Elections, for example, offer women the chance to translate the new roles they assume out of necessity during the conflict into formal political representation. However, elections also expose women to lingering discriminatory mindsets and cultural practices that are considerable barriers to their greater political participation. On December 8, 2020, Liberians across the 15 counties went to the polls to elect senators in the special senatorial election. Election day was relatively peaceful. But the coalition of Liberian women, comprising women organizations and advocates of women's rights, is particularly concerned about the recent attacks on independent senatorial candidate Botoe Kannah, who is leading Gbrapolu County senatorial race, featuring 8 other candidates, all men. Kannah is leading by 449 votes, followed by Representative Alfred Gbrapolu of the ruling party, the Coalition of Democratic Change, Madam Botoe and incumbent Senator Ahmad Jala in their own districts. The National Elections Commission ordered a rerun in Nomadato because the town's 2021 registered voters did not participate in the December 8, 2020 elections because Paramount Chief McGill Wulua seized the ballot boxes and election materials. The rerun was scheduled to take place on December 15, 2020. The day before the election, the Chief Wulua brought out the traditional male devil, a tactic intended to prevent Madam Kannah and her supporters from entering the town to participate in the electoral process. In traditional societies, women are not supposed to see the male devil. We have reviewed videotapes where Gbrapolu County Superintendent J.K. Sa was seen threatening local officials that they would lose their jobs if they did not vote for Corwood, the CDC candidate. We are disturbed by this display of abuse of power and misuse of office by the superintendent. We have learned that Madam Kannah and some of her supporters were threatened, beaten, and harassed by local authorities in the town of Nomadato, District 3, near the Sierra Leone border. 2 of the young women working on Kannah's campaign were allegedly raped while in custody, according to the team of women advocacy groups that rescued Botoe. The local authorities also brought out the male devil to intimidate Botoe and her supporters because they know full well that women are prohibited from seeing the male devil. Since when our cultural practices introduced into our elections? We cannot have the country devil coming out at the behest of individuals who are looking for political gain and using him to intimidate and disenfranchise women voters. We also want to state that our country devils are an integral part of our traditional heritage, of which we are immensely proud. This abuse of such historical symbol is denigrating the very fabric of our nation and putting us up to ridicule. We must remember that the laws of Liberia supersede these traditional practices. The use of the devil during elections and in any statutory process is wrong. This is not what our traditional authority is used for. This attitude is corrupting the practice of our traditions. Our laws prohibit the abuse and misuse of our traditions. There are specific traditions and practices when the country devil is called out. This does not include elections. He is prohibited from coming out during elections. We strongly believe that the absence of enforcement of the laws by the security sector has increased the ongoing violence in Gbrapolu County. Members of the joint security forces that were present in the area failed to protect Madam Kannah and her supporters and calm the situation in Gbrapolu County. We strongly believe that these cultural and physical attacks on women in our electoral process is at odds with Liberia's commitment to achieving women's representation in politics. We therefore remind the Liberian government of its obligation to protect all candidates, especially women candidates, to promote equal participation of women. We also believe that NEC could have been more forceful in the execution and protection of the electoral process. We do not understand why there is a failure in this regard. In recognition of the ongoing security situation in Gbrapolu, we held separate meetings with the Minister of Justice, Councillor F. Musa Dean, and the Minister of Internal Affairs, Honorable Vani Salif, to voice our concerns. Minister Dean assured us that arrests had been made of alleged perpetrators in Gbrapolu. During our meeting, he indicated that the perpetrators were being evacuated to Gbrapolu for further investigations. He assured us of a full investigation and that government will provide security for Botoe Kannah and Madam Botoe Kannah in Nimba. In a meeting, we reported the incident of the threat and beating of the head of the women's group, and he immediately started the investigation. The Minister of Internal Affairs, Honorable Salif, said he is aware of the abuse of the country devil. He said he and the Council of Traditional Leaders are investigating it and taking it seriously. He said those involved will be sanctioned. Honorable Salif also said that the Chief Onoma Datu has also been suspended. Considering the situation, we are making the following recommendations. We request that President George Weah exhibits political will to protect women from all forms of violence, including elections-related violence. We urge him to provide adequate resources to the Ministry of Justice to enforce the law by investigating and prosecuting those who were involved in all election-related violence. We urge the Minister of Justice to investigate, arrest, and prosecute all perpetrators of violence during the just-ended special senatorial elections. This investigation must include all those who abuse our cultural traditions. The Ministry of Internal Affairs and the National Council of Traditional Leaders should immediately suspend all those traditional leaders accused of disrupting the electoral process, arrest them and turn them over for prosecution. If found guilty, they should be dismissed and the full course of the law should be brought. Before the National Election Commission schedules the rerun in Gbrapolu, it must conduct a complete investigation of the election-related violence and put mechanisms in place to deter future disruption. The armed forces should be called in to support the security situation and protect voters. We request assistance from the United Nations, ECOWAS, and the United States Embassy to support monitoring and security in this area. The government must provide support and safe homes for rape victims and ensure that the perpetrators are prosecuted. Thank you. And it's signed by the Anti-Gropes International Center for Women's Empowerment, Leadership Development, International Peace and Security, the Association of Female Lawyers, AFEL, the Young Women's Christians Association, the YWCA, the Forum of Liberian Women Elders, COPWEL, CPP Women Movement, the Young Women Leadership and Knowledge Institute, Team CIVET, Movement for One Liberia, more Liberian Women Can Lead. Thank you.